Good evening. My name is Amanda Willmann, and I am a graduate student at Texas State University. Today I'm going to give you a little demonstration on how to set up a Google site, primarily for teacher use and or student use, but for all sorts of things. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do if you're going to create a Google site is go to google.com, as you see here on my screen. I'm already logged in, as you can see. If you are not, you just go ahead and click sign in, put in your Gmail account, and that's your sign in for your entire Google accounts, calendar, documents, sites, all of the above. If you do not have a Google account, just go ahead and sign up for one. It's absolutely free and gives you access to all of these great tools. So go ahead and sign into your account. Once you've done that, you've got all these options up here at the top. Here's my Gmail, my documents, my calendar, etc. I'm going to click on more, scroll down, and go down to even more. And I'm looking for sites. So come here, all these different Google tools that are available to you. Scroll down till you get to Home and Office. Home and Office. And Sites is right here on the right-hand side, second down. Click on that. And you can see I've got several sites already started for different purposes. The one I want to show you today to kind of preview a little bit about what you could possibly do with a Google site for a classroom and for students is located right here. And I'll go ahead and show you that first. Okay, this is a Google site that I created actually as a class project for one of my graduate classes. But when I created it, I did it with the intention of using as a classroom website for my 8th grade math students. For many years, seven years actually, I taught middle school math. The last couple of years, I was the school's math facilitator and prior to that, an 8th grade math teacher. So got a lot of experience with that particular content. So that's what I pulled from to create this website and had those students in mind when I was doing it. So as you can see, I just was real general, Mrs. Willmann's class site. I chose to use one of the pre-designed templates that was for an educational setting. So you can see the little chalkboard and the desks in the background, and there's a lot of different themes you can choose from, or you can just go blank and start from scratch, and we'll look at those when we start creating our own site. Just want to take you around at some of the things that are available. On my homepage here, I have 3 sections in front that are all gadgets, and I'll show you how these gadgets work. But basically, so this first section, word of the week. I, as a teacher, would go in and post, just like you would maybe if you had a blog. I'd create a new post which had an actual vocabulary words that my students would need to know, and then I would go ahead and define it. And on this particular word, I linked to it. So here's the post that I did. Very general, very plain. I like to use plain English, so to speak, when defining math terms for my students so that they would have a better chance at understanding it and how it fits in. And I posted a link to a website called A Maths Dictionary for Kids. And I really was impressed with this because all of the different words that we need are here. They can search by letter of the alphabet, so come over here to F. Click on fraction, because that was our word of the week. And then there's a bunch of different ways for them to interact with that word. So a part of a group, a number of a whole. So here's an example of a whole. Here's a half. Some fractional examples to show them. Fraction calculators, equivalent fractions. This is an activity where they can actually take 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. I can put this on top of this to test. Yes, they are exactly the same space covered there, so they are equivalent fractions. Same thing here, 1632 30-seconds would give them the same thing. And then quiz options, all sorts of great stuff. So as a teacher, you can link all sorts of neat things that, you know, kids can get sidetracked and get playing, and if they're going to play and they're going to search around, I'd love for them to be doing it in math. So I thought this was a pretty cool site and a pretty cool way for them to interact with some math words. Okay, going back to our homepage, and as you can see, it says showing posts 1 of 1. So this gadget that I entered here, and as well as these two here, are just like entering in blog posts on a separate page. And so I'll show you that when we get started on creating your site. We have recent announcements and we have homework assignments. So a great way to, and I've actually linked this one incorrectly, it looks like, but we can fix that later. So my recent post showed up here. I also took the liberty of giving them, putting in a slideshow presentation. This presentation was actually put together for professional development for teachers so that they could see how I incorporated fantasy football into my classroom. So I decided to put it in here on this page so that my new students coming in would be able to kind of preview what the fantasy football project was all about, kind of get excited, kind of see what's going to be required of them, I guess, and what they're going to be doing on a weekly basis, because it's a lot more fun if they kind of research their players and they know if they have some favorites, kind of look up those people, and kids just love to know what's coming next. So I went ahead and did a slideshow presentation in here, and they can just look through the slides and see this was our classroom board of wins and losses as the season went, and then all the helmets the kids made and decorated themselves to represent their imaginary teams that they created. And just kind of details about how we do our fantasy football project for 8th grade. So that was kind of the home page there. Then over here is class announcements, which is also posted here. So if they wanted to go back and see older posts, they can come to this and they could scroll through whichever one they want. The next page I have here is a class calendar. This is a very handy little tool. It allows students to, view, in this case I did the NEIC, the district calendar. So holidays, new student registration, school starts, end of the grading period, things like that were all in. You could also create your own class calendar where you entered in homework assignments, due dates, things of that nature, fun stuff happening at school, that kind of stuff. And students could, if they had their own Google accounts, they could come down here and click this Add Google Calendar button, and it would appear on their Google account so that they could show or hide and keep up to date. So as soon as you posted something on the calendar, it would pop up on the student's calendar as well, which is just a great organizational feature there. The template that I used had a contact me and a meet your teacher section, so I just went ahead and filled them in for fun. General basic stuff. Imported my own picture here, and then this was a click to read about Mrs. Willmann, kind of a biography. Kids always like to know everything they can about your life. I created a section for parents. In this parent page, I inserted a Google form. Now, it's right here. You can grab the scroll bar and scroll down to see the entire form, or you can click here to open the form and fill it out. It's really kind of like a survey where parents could enter in their contact information, their name, their student's name, phone number, email address. That way I know it's up to date and it's current. And also their preference. Would you rather me call you when you're at work, or would you rather me wait till you're at home? Or do you prefer email in general? Whichever one is best, because parents like for you to be able to reach them and, in a timely manner and convenient manner. I customized this myself, and I really, now that I've done it, wish I had known about this when I was teaching, because the results of this survey are downloaded into a Google Doc, a Google spreadsheet, and so your information is organized in essentially a spreadsheet, Excel documents, so to speak, and you can sort it by the parent's name, by the child's name. You can cut and copy the list of email addresses and just pop it into your address book and create a group of parents to email for this school year. I can just see endless possibilities of wonderful things with a form like this, but I didn't know about it then, so oh well, maybe next time. What a great tool for teachers though. And then also on the parent page, I included a link to the district's parent page, as well as a link to the district's parent portal. And this is a nifty little thing where parents can log in with their own unique account, and they can view their students' grades, cafeteria account balance, library books checked out, all sorts of wonderful information. They can add money to their cafeteria account if they need to. And I'm sure there's been a lot more information added to it since I've been out of teaching the last 2 years. So handy link for parents. Come over here, and this is a gadget. I don't know if it's a gadget or not, but an insert. You can insert a Google map. So this is the address of the school, so parents, grandparents, friends, whatever, can find the school easily. But I can see how being able to insert a map of a specific area or something you're studying or a region or something to look at on Google Earth. Let's measure the distance of across Canyon Lake, things like that. Would just be so much fun for kids to be able to interact with. So that's an example of how you could put a map in on your website. Useful links. This actually was already part of the template, and all of these links were already here. Tutor.com, ACT help, SAT help, all sorts of wonderful links. But this is a list page, so you can customize your own categories here and put in your own links, your own descriptions, or create a completely different type of list. But we'll get into that as we create our own sites in just a minute. File cabinet. This is a page where you can stash resources for your kids to access, documents, links, anything like that. Really exactly like it sounds, file cabinet. I posted 2 links, the school's homepage here, and then the district's homepage here, because those are always fun links to have easily available. And then my very last section I created was for collaboration. This is where students can come to share their own input. And I would hope that as the year went on, I would be able to really open it up and use a lot more collaboration, as we discover things we can use. So the first thing I did was a helpful technology. Students are notorious for finding wonderful things on the internet. Some are just wonderfully distracting, and some are actually quite useful and educational. So I went ahead and inserted a Google Moderator gadget here, or inserted Google Moderator, and made 2 topics, useful technology and educational games. So my hope would be that my students would come in, and if they had a site for educational games or resources, they would come in here and submit their idea right here. Submit the idea and tell us what website you're playing, what is it helping you accomplish, all of that kind of good information, and it just gives them a platform to share that kind of stuff on with everyone in the class and me as well. And then also useful technology. What tools on the web are you using that is making it easier for you to create a video, post to YouTube, search through YouTube, what site is it good for, and all sorts of things like that. So a forum for kids to post their ideas and collaborate and help each other find useful things on the internet. And then our last one I did was a to-do page. And so my thought was that this would be where students would come to share information and work on class documents and projects and things like that together. So the first thing I inputted was, since our very first project is a fantasy football, I inserted the fantasy football record sheet. And so what I wanted students to do was to come in here, and once their group had decided on their fantasy football team's name, they would come enter it on here. And so once it's on, nobody else can use it or anything super similar to it. And then we can very easily see who we're waiting on to finish and who's already done. So, and then of course, I usually print this off and post it in the classroom, or I could lock it down and update it on here. It'd actually be a lot more feasible. So students would come, this is a preview of the document, they would come and click here, and that would take them to the actual Google Doc, and every student that I allow would have access to get on here and type whatever it is that they wanted for their team's name. Yeah. And then the last thing I entered on our to-do list was our fantasy football players list. Every summer right before school started, my husband joyfully created this wonderful list for me of all the current NFL players and their positions and their cost, essentially. We got our information out of a particular magazine, which I noted here, and we, based on their ranking in the magazine, we assigned them a cost, and that was really to add more math to the process of drafting players and to keep it more of an even playing field versus kids who knew a lot about football and kids who didn't. But as I was creating this website, I thought, what a great idea to have this put on here and let the kids go through and update the information themselves. So what I foresaw was assigning each team, you know what, you have the first half of the quarterbacks, you guys have the second half of the quarterbacks. And that way, it would be their job to research where the player is now. Is he still in this position? For example, under quarterbacks, Peyton Manning on my list is still under Indianapolis Colts. He was just traded. So the kids could come in and update that information, and then maybe even not change the price, but maybe list their rankings and if it's gone up or down, and we can share that information together. So really kind of helping me delegate some of the work, and so that I don't have to do it all, or my husband doesn't have to do it all, but my kids can. So the more involved they get, the better. So that's what I decided to include on my class website, just for starters. And what we'll do now is show you how to create one of your very own. So heading back, so when we first logged into our Google account, we came here, and then we found Google Sites, and it brought us here. So these are the sites I've already created, and today we're going to go ahead and create a new one. So hit create. Once you do that, it takes you to a setup page. There are a wide variety of different templates to choose from. They're already very formatted for you: colors, fonts, gadgets, images, things like that are already put in place. Or you can start with a blank one, which we're going to do today. We can kind of browse the gallery here so you can see some of the different things that are available. You can look by featured, by different genres, I guess. Classroom site. Here's kind of a more fun, cartoony looking teacher site, which would have been good to do. Corkboard, all sorts of great stuff to choose from. You can customize as you go. Oops, back to create. Okay, so for our purposes today, we're going to start simple and just go with a blank one, so you can see the types of things that you can input. Name your site. Your name can be changed. However, your URL, which is down here, cannot. So once you create it, you kind of want to be really general. That way, if you want to use it year after year, you can on your URL. You can come back and change your name to say Mrs. Willmann's 8th grade class of 2012, and then next year change it to 2013. But your URL is not going to change. If you do change your URL, you're creating a whole new site, and you're going to have to create all new information. So let's go ahead and call this Amanda Willmann Demo 1, and we'll say Miss Willmann's math class. And come down here and type in our little code. Hope we did it right. And let's hope our URL is not taken. Okay, so there we go. There's our basic site created. Now, to edit your site, as long as you know how to use Microsoft Word or a word processor, any of those types of things, you're going to be able to create a site very easily. So the first thing you need to know, this is our home page. Of all the pages that you create, you can move, delete, all sorts of things. Your home page you cannot ever delete. It's always got to be there. So you want to make it as nice as possible. So here's your edit page button. Here's your add a page button. This one is for more actions, and there's all sorts of different things: templates, actions, manage your site, sharing permissions, all sorts of stuff like that. We're just going to be really basic today. So let's go ahead and edit our home page. Now, once you hit edit, you see you've got all these editing tools, just like you would on a word processing software. Insert. Here's a bunch of different things that you can insert into your web page. Formatting, table design, and layouts. So this is our page layout. You can see now that we've got one big column and kind of one header column, And we can change that to however we want. Let's go ahead and do 2 for some variety here, and leave it at that. So we're going to call this home. Okay, so the first thing I want to try to do is, let's go ahead and say, welcome to Miss Willmann's 8th grade math class. And let's go ahead and insert a picture. I'm going to choose a file to upload. I've saved one to my desktop to make it easy for us. And there it is. Open. Okay, that's going to upload. I hit OK, and bam, my picture is right there. Now, the picture is here. It's selected, and here's some editing options you have for your picture. You can turn the wrapping of text off, turn it on, keep it original size. You can do small, medium, or large. My picture is resized to be small, so it's grainy, not very high resolution. And you can change your alignment. So let's go ahead and center that one, make it a little prettier. And okay, done with my picture. So that's how you insert a picture into a website. Very easy thing to do. Okay, the next thing you might want to do, let's say so I've inserted my picture. Maybe I'm done with my home page for now. I'm going to add a few side information first and then kind of organize it as I go. So once I'm done editing, I need to come up here and hit save. On most of your Google applications, it saves automatically for you, not on the sites. You have to hit save. However, if you try to go to a different page before saving, it will alert you and warn you before you do that, so you don't lose all of the work that you created. All right, so let's go here. I'm going to show you how to incorporate a calendar. Hit new page. It's going to prompt you to name your page. So we're going to put class calendar. Let's just call it calendar. Template. We're going to try to create one of each type of page. For calendar purposes, we're going to keep it at a web page. It kind of gives you a lot more flexibility in how to do it. We're going to keep it at the top level, and everything else looks good. So create that. Okay, so what I want to do, calendar, I want to insert my class calendar in here. So I'm going to come over here to insert, and you'll notice right here on the right hand side is a Google Calendar. So I'm going to click that. Now here are calendars that I have already created in my own Google account. There's a bunch of different ones here, and I'm just going to select NEISD. And we're going to leave it at that for now. You could select multiple U.S. holidays. You have to do those one at a time though, but you can put 2 on. Call that NEISD. So here's some view options: month, agenda, week, whichever you like, time zone, and then a bunch of different options here for you to choose from. Click save. And so there's your calendar is inserted. You don't see much now until you save it. Once you save it, now you can view the entire thing. And so it is an interactive calendar. They're going to be able to scroll through and see when Christmas break starts, because that's what everybody wants to know. How long till Christmas break? Go back to today. All that great kind of stuff. Now, another neat tool, if you go back to your home page, we're going to click Edit. Okay, and we're going to insert a gadget. And you can kind of play around and look through the different gadgets available. Google News, Google Moderator, follow me on Twitter, all sorts of great stuff. We're going to insert this Google Calendar. And it's a mini calendar to your home page. So let's go to Select, Preview Gadget. Back to Configuration. Call it Calendar. And hit OK. Okay, so it threw it right there in the middle, and maybe that's not quite where I want it. So I'm going to actually move it and bring it down into one of these smaller boxes so that it splits the screen right here and doesn't take up the entire thing. I also want to come here to settings. Nope, that's where we were. Display mini calendar. Okay. All right, so save that and preview your home page now. You have a nice handy little calendar over here. It has added edit visible calendars. Okay. It added every Google Calendar that I had in my account, and I don't want my kids to see all of that. So I hit options, edit my calendar options, and I don't want them to see this main calendar. I don't want them to see my grad course work, my birthdays, my husband's calendar, or the weather. They can see holidays. That's all I want them to be able to see at this point. So I'll leave it at that. So that's how to edit and get a cute little mini calendar on your home page. Let's go ahead and add another type of page. Something that might be useful is maybe like a homework assignment. And for homework assignments, we're going to use an announcement style or announcement template for our homework page. And the announcement template is very nice because it lets you add information just like you would if you were blogging. Okay, so if you're creating a blog post. So this is what my homework page looks like, and you can see right here it says new post. So I'm going to go ahead and post. Title it welcome. Welcome to class. For this first week of school, your homework, your assignment is to have your parents submit their information on our parent page. Okay, and go ahead and save that. You can click Save Draft so that to post for later, or you can just hit Save to save it for now and post right away. So that's kind of its own page. So I can go back to homework assignments and hit New Post to create a new one. We'll call this week 2. Please select a name for your fantasy football team. Okay, post that. Okay, so our homework assignments, we have several posts that show up here, and this is just automatically being done for us over here on the side. I'll show you how to edit the sidebar after a little while. And if you come to the homework assignment page, you can see that they're posted much like you would see on a blog. Now if we go back to our home page, there's another interesting gadget that we can add. Sorry for the interruption. Hopefully this will work out okay. We just had finished posting homework assignments. So we were back to our home page, and we want to insert so that students can see recent assignments on the home page as soon as they get here. So click Edit, come over here to Insert, scroll down, and here is a neat gadget called Recent Posts. We want to click on that. And we can edit, change our settings here. We want to show posts from homework assignments. We could choose for it to be just a short little bit of it, just a little bit longer snippet, or a full post altogether. Ours are very short, so full posts would be fine, but as you get into the semester and they get a little bit longer, you may want to just make it a snippet so it doesn't take up so much space on your homepage. You can customize how many posts you want to display, and then a title for it. So what I would put here is maybe recent homework assignments, and save that. Now I don't want it to be the very first thing they see, although pretty close to it, but I am going to move it down here underneath our picture. And actually I'm going to take our picture and I'm going to move it up into our header. And I'm going to move this welcome note up there as well. Okay, so I've got my two gadgets side by side here. And let's save and see what that looks like now. Okay, not too bad. I might want to change this font here because it looks a little funky right next to my picture. But so you can see that our recent homework assignments are the newest post shows up first, so kids can keep up to date on their homework. And you can use that in any way that you want. Another different type of page, we did a web page, did an announcement. Let's try a file cabinet. We're going to call this one Student Resources. File cabinet is also a very good name. Create that page. And so again, very generic because I didn't select a special template or anything like that, but just wanted to show you kind of the options that are available. I'm going to add a file from my desktop, ones that students would be using for fantasy football. So I want them to have a players list, a players under contract, a score sheet, and a helmet. And let's go ahead and put a schedule in there too. All right, so we're going to open those files. They're going to be added up to our file cabinet page. And once we get them in there, we can actually organize them a little bit if you want. If you have a bunch of different files you want your kids to have access to, I can, if you'll notice, there's an actual checkbox next to each document. So for example, this players list and schedule are actually class documents. So I'm going to say move to a new folder, class documents. Specific to a class and not really specific to an individual student. And then the rest of them are available to everybody. And we can go ahead and just for the sake of organizing, call them, well, football documents, or we can leave them like they are. So that's what a file cabinet page looks like. You can add files, you can add links, you can add all sorts of great things. Another type of page, and actually the last type of page, is going to be a list page. This is can be used to make any kinds of lists that you want. A lot of teachers might put down maybe a reading list. Okay, so there's a couple different types of lists that you can use. Action items, keep track of action items from a meeting or a project. That might be really useful for a math class especially. An issue list, track your project's open issues, things that we haven't resolved yet. Track the status of individual units in your project, or make your own. So we're going to go ahead and just create our own. And then here's where we can customize our list. So it's right here asking a new column, what do we want to call it? We decided to make it a reading list. So we're going to put title, and the type of information in it is going to be text. So then we're going to add a column, and the next we'll put page numbers. Checkbox, date, drop down, URLs, text, different options for your columns there. So title, page number, let's do due date. And the last one we're gonna put done. checkbox just to see what it looks like. Okay, so there is our little list. Let's go ahead and add an item. Let's say we want them to read The Grapes of Math, page number 5 to 10. It's actually a very short book. Due August 8th. Save. And we could check whether it was finished or not. So maybe as the semester goes on, you can put a check there for ones that are already completed and they don't need to look at anymore. Or just delete it, totally up to you. Let's add one more. We'll call it the math curse. Pages 1 through 15, due August 30th. Okay, so you can see kind of the different things that you could be doing with the list. So that's all of the different types of page templates that you can create with Google Sites. The last thing that I want to show you is over here your sidebar. This one has been automatically organized for us, but you can customize this if you don't like the way that it looks, or if you want to just make it not quite so busy and reorganize. So you can hit Edit Sidebar, and you'll notice here, this is kind of the back end layout of your website, page content, header, all that's kind of customized by your theme, or we've already done it. And then here's the actual sidebar stuff. So it says navigation, and we can edit. It says automatically organize my navigation. If I uncheck this, then I see all the different things that are listed in my sidebar, and I can move them or delete them or change them however I see fit. So if I select, for example, home, I can move it up or down in the sidebar. I can indent it and make it a sub-page underneath another page, or I can move it out and make it one of a top-level page. So you'll see, like here for homework assignments, week 2 is actually a sub-page under homework assignments. Now I could grab it and move it out if I wanted to. Of course, that doesn't really make a lot of sense given what we did with it. So I can reorganize this list however I want. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and take out homework assignments. No, I'm not. I'm going to take out these. Yeah, I am. Take out homework assignments, the bottom 2, because they show up on the post, and if they just click on homework assignments, then they can go see the rest of it. And I'm also going to take these. I'm going to take out all 3 of these last pages, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay, so I want to save that. Hold down. Save. Okay. Oh, one other thing. Notice down here, sitemap is checked. If I uncheck this, then the sitemap option comes off of the sidebar. That's a nice tool because if you are organized enough or you are using a website from a previous year, you can hide pages so that students can't see them yet. But if there is a sitemap option available, students can find that all pages you have created and saved on the website are available to view in a sitemap. So if you hide the sitemap option, then kids can't, or it will be harder to find a way to get to pages or posts or things like that that you don't want them to see just yet. So taking that off might be a good idea. Depends on your preferences. So here I am back at the customizing site, and I'm going to add a sidebar item. A couple of different options here: navigation, text, site activity. Okay, so I'm going to add another navigation button. I'm going to edit it, and so I'm going to add some pages because I took a few off. So here's the pages I have available to add. Useful if I've already got home calendar, I've already got home. I'm going to go ahead and add the homework assignment page. And I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to add the reading list. Okay. And now I want to add that last page I hid, student resources. And I'm going to hit OK. And this particular section, I'm going to go ahead and title this Students. So this is pages intended specifically for students, but parents can of course come and look at them as well. Save your changes and head back to your site. So now you can see the new look of my sidebar, a little neater, a little less junked, and you can add and change a lot more than just that. So these are just a few of the very basic things that are available to you when creating a Google site, so that you and your students can collaborate. You can also share, make it public to anyone. You can give students permission for specific pages so that they can edit on this page, but they can't touch, the homework assignments and try to change them so that no one has to do homework. Things like that. So hopefully this was a nice little insight into just kind of the tip of the iceberg on what you can do with Google Sites. Thanks.